Hello again, Ontraport community. So how much data analysis are you doing from within Ontraport itself? If you have a pro account, then you're probably making use of things like tracked links, UTM codes, performance tracking mode, custom dashboards, and even projection mode to help you make some strategic decisions about how to optimize your business. But for people running membership sites, we used to run into trouble giving them the metrics they were asking for, like monthly recurring revenue, MRR, churn, and displaying trends in an intuitive layout. Add to that the work involved in trying to set things up that were easy to replicate for each new client, and things got out of hand pretty quickly. We knew we wanted something powerful enough for clients to get what they needed, but affordable enough that it wasn't going to add yet another subscription to people's marketing stacks. So when we stumbled on ProfitWell and saw that not only did it have all the features we needed, but also made it all available for free, we fell in love and got to work making it integrate with Ontraport. For anyone that's new to Ontraport, it's precisely this ability to extend the platform's capabilities that make it such an underappreciated powerhouse among the leading all-in-one solutions. For anyone that's been around for a while, but are mostly using Ontraport for emails and checkout forms, you're missing out on way more than you think by not digging in a bit more. But that's enough of a rant. Let's jump into ProfitWell for a quick peek at exactly what kinds of insights are waiting for you inside. So when you first log into your dashboard, you're going to be greeted by something that looks like this. And of course, this is going to vary depending on how much data you have in your Ontraport account already. But the basic overview is that it shows you snapshots of the different areas that it finds the most important. Up here at the top, we see the current monthly recurring revenue. We see the current number of customers. Over here, we can amplify this to being longer than just the last 48 hours. So let's say the past 7 days or so. It'll show you the new customers that have come in since then. You can zoom in to each customer to kind of see some of their history, whether that is when they first joined, if they've ever lapsed or canceled their membership for whatever reason, and then if they've been reactivated. Gives you some other statistics here, shows you a little bit about their lifetime value and when that money's come in. Over here, we can see this month's growth. It compares it automatically to the previous month's period. Over here, we can see the growth rate for February. It also shows us the churn overview and the number of upgrades and or downgrades that have gone throughout the month. And then the number of reactivations. A reactivation is anytime somebody has churned and then come back into the fold. And of course, all of these links underneath each of these sections will take you into the expanded view of those categories. Over here, we can see things like growth and scale, and we can set different goals for the month, and ProfitWell will automatically track where we are in relationship to that goal. This gives you the possibility of comparing different months. If we wanted to, we can widen this out to 2019. We can also compare different plans. We can also zoom in to different months if we'd like to. And you can see that all three of these graphs will change based on whichever selection you make up here and the time periods that you're trying to compare it to. As you drag your mouse over, it'll give you some data on the different weeks of the month, as well as the revenue that was generated for that time period. And it'll show you the comparison data, so you can see how things are trending. In this particular account, we can see that there was probably some sort of campaign that was done in January, and also another one that went through in February, because this is where we start to see spikes in that revenue trend line. Down here, it'll show you the growth from new users. This is kind of the total overall growth, which will also include some of that churn metric, and you'll see that in a second here. This shows you growth from existing users, and this generally means that these are the people who upgrade or downgrade over the course of the month. Jump in here to revenue trends, and you can see that there are a bunch of different reports, but we'll just take a quick look at a couple of them here. The monthly recurring revenue overview shows you the equation that they use to calculate this. This particular account has about $25,888 coming in monthly recurring revenue, and that is gleaned from $448 in new business, $164 in people who had churned but have come back, $128 in people upgrading to the next tier, and $25,372 of existing monthly recurring revenue, which was carried over from the previous month. We haven't had any downgrades yet, and this shows the amount of churn. And these are, again, churn is the number of people, in this case, the dollar amount of the people who have decided to cancel their subscription during this given month. Again, you can come in here and play with different time ranges. You can also change this to be just a line graph. As you drag your mouse over it, it gives you kind of a zoomed in summary of what happened during this month. In this particular case, we're looking at November of 2018. And again, this just kind of gives you the same information, but it breaks it out into a table view. And you can see that the current month is over here at the far right. And you can go ahead and scroll this all the way back, in this case, to January of 2018, and even further back if you'd like, just to kind of compare these numbers to what you're seeing in today's calculations. It's always nice for those of you who are a little bit more into statistics. You can download a CSV file and you can play with this data any way you'd like. Coming back over here, we can look at things like growth rate. This will tell us also some information. We can either do it by the percentage of growth, or we can do it by the net new monthly recurring revenue. And again, it shows you just in time how these things have all worked out, along with the summaries. We won't go into all of them, but you can see that there are several other reports that you can use to analyze how things are going. And more importantly, it should help you get an idea for how to avoid things like a big month of churn happening, right? So if you see that there are months that had very little churn, you can kind of go back and look at what happened there. Did you run any campaigns to keep people from deciding to cancel? Did you run any kind of sales, right? Little things like this, for me as a visual person, this gives me at least starting points for where I can go back, dig in, see what we did right and see what we did wrong in past months, and try and replicate that going forward and optimize the system as a whole that way. With segmentation, you can also come in here and it asks some kind of questions right out of the box. You can go ahead and click on compare. This will kind of answer these questions that it's posed automatically. You can also go in here and make up your own ways of segmenting things to try and glean even more data out of the system. Now, ProfitWell as a freemium type business model has made it so that the vast majority of the features are all ready to go for you. You don't have to pay for them. They're all included in the normal free account. But there are certain things that they've decided that they'll pay for, which you can always go ahead and subscribe to those at any time you'd like to see if the access to the extra data will give you even more insights to make the right strategic decisions. Here it just kind of zooms in on the customers. And again, from here, you can zoom into any particular customer and look at kind of their history. And it will go ahead and reveal even more insights. For example, in this particular person, we can see that back in May of 2018, they churned for whatever reason, and they ended up coming back in March of this year. So it might be interesting to go ahead and dig in a little bit deeper just to see what happened. Again, looking at individual customers may or may not be something that is going to give you a lot of insights, but it's definitely something to keep in mind. If you have any groups of people that you uncover with the segments, you can kind of look in individually and see if there was some kind of commonality between those groups of people to either, if it's looking at things like churn, to avoid those things happening again, or if it's looking at things like upgrading, then you can go back, look at what kind of campaign you ran that inspired so many people and try to replicate that on a more frequent basis. And then, of course, like any good SaaS product, it has a link to the knowledge base. And in here, you're going to find a whole lot of information, not just about how to use ProfitWell itself. And again, this is because I'm in Spain, so it's detecting that I'm using a different language. But when it's in English, you'll see that you have all of the help documents here. But it's not just about how to use ProfitWell itself. This also is a great source of information about how all these metrics are calculated, and more importantly, what they may mean for your business and give you some ideas about how to make your strategic decisions a little bit faster and more accurate as you begin to explore the system a bit. So that's it. I hope you liked it. ProfitWell is a great SaaS product, and it is a great complement to Ontraport's already powerful analytics system. So I would definitely encourage anybody who's looking for a little bit deeper data or who is a visual learner like me to explore the possibilities of hooking up ProfitWell to your Ontraport instance. And again, this is for people who are running membership sites and who have monthly recurring revenue issues that they'd like to be able to analyze and to help keep churn as low as possible while keeping their month-over-month growth as high as possible.